For somebody who doesn't know what they want to do, who isn't even necessarily employed,
yes,
you know, having financial difficulty,
yes,
like, what is your
take on that?
Well, what is your advice for like absolutely zero to roof over your head?
It's the reason I started making garage sale videos. So you can pull up Trash Talk Garyvee. I think you can see I'm getting addicted with this. It's pretty fucking awesome. I might need to live like this. So, this lady was amazing. Anyway, this is my advice. So I started getting those emails, and I was like, you know what? So for the people listening, I have a good, back to a different audience across the room. I know a good amount may not know who I am. I was born in the Soviet Union. I was born in the USSR. Belarus, thank you, my man. So I came here when I was 3. We lived in a studio apartment the size of this fucking van with like 5-6 family members, like real humble beginnings. And so, you know, I didn't grow up with much. And, you know, in my teenage years, I started going to garage sales and then going to the flea market and flipping shit. I was always into like collectibles. That's why the V-Friends thing is fun and all that. And then when my brother's 11 years younger than me, when my brother was like 13, I could tell my mom was trying to make him a lawyer. I'm like, no. Like, AJ, come with me. We're gonna go garage sailing, and now this new thing, eBay. We're gonna sell it on this thing. And so,
how old were you?
I was 22 at that time, or 23 at that time when I was teaching my brother. That's when eBay had just come out a few years earlier, and I watched my brother go from 0 to like $10,000 in cash in a summer, because we would buy video games for 50 cents and sell them for 20 bucks on eBay, or a shirt, or anything nostalgic, pop culture, things like that. So my advice is, first of all, I'm gonna go macro and micro. In the micro, right now in America, and obviously it's in some other parts of the world, but garage selling is bigger here. In America, the quickest way to go from $20 to your name to 10,000, which creates some sort of breathing room of some sorts, I genuinely believe is thrift stores and garage sales. Genuinely. Because it's a place where you can buy things for a quarter, 50 cents, and $1 and get 20. You can't do that in many other places. Yeah,
but I feel like the garage, for sure, you're right.
Okay.
But if you're starting out at a thrift store on Melrose,
no, that's
no
different.
Fucking way.
That's bougie thrift store.
Yeah.
I'm talking Goodwill. Like, you can go to the Goodwill.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting all over the country.
Yeah, I bought some cool Stetson shit in Oklahoma at the thrift store. Like,
and these are like brick and mortar places where you can go and purchase something for like 50 cents, $1. But then you take it online and you've got such an infinitely larger audience.
Yeah, and it's not even your audience. For everyone who's listening saying, fuck, I don't have an audience. No. You just list it on eBay. You just list it on Poshmark. You just list it on these places, Macari. There's all these places now. So 0, the most logical place I see is garage sales.
So it's the tale as old as time, is like, get a product and sell it.
That's the one. Like, I think about this a lot, because somewhere along the line, I kept telling the stories about, like, early in my career, which was 10, 15 years into my career, after I saved some money, I made these good investments in 2006. They were called Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And of course, it changed my life. And I would talk a lot about it, but then I just started getting enough emails saying, like, yo, bro, I fuck with you, Gary. I love you, but like, I don't have $25,000 to put in some sort of startup. So what do I do? And finally, because I read all my DMs and emails, especially back in 07, 8, 9, 10, 11, I was really doing it because I could manage it. I was like, fuck, they're right. I got to talk about some other shit.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to this. And so to answer the question in the micro, I believe the answer genuinely is garage sale flipping.
Are you still doing garage sailing to this day?
Yeah, that's me like a couple weeks ago. Now, at this point, I'm donating what I buy and what I sell for to charity, because I'm in this place in my life. But no bullshit, bro. Like, honestly, I like doing that shit more than almost anything I do in life. This is all about people being comfortable in their own skin. Not everybody, to your point. Let me tell you something about me. I'm motivated when we're talking about business. I'm motivated when we're talking about kindness or like people skills. I'm not motivated when you're talking about filling out a form.
For sure. Wow.
Like, I'm incapable. I mean, that's serious.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this nice and slow. I am borderline incapable.
Of administrative duties?
Of administrative duties.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're creative.
Yeah.
Look, for everybody who's listening, if you do not understand yourself and you're listening to fuckers like me or your mom or your dad or your buddy, and they're like, just You can't do that. That's like telling me, like, just shut the fuck up. I can't. I need to talk. Like, we have to reverse engineer truth. So to your point, when I put out all these videos, the comments are like, yeah, but the gas cost 20 bucks. I'm like, but I made $800. They're like, yeah, but the eBay fees. I'm like, yeah, but I made $800.
But those are just the weakest people that aren't survival of the fittest. Like, it's not, you don't have that drive to do that then.
What's interesting about that, and I see where you're going, is I'm fascinated by what the internet does to change the variable of how many don't have to be the weakest. The option, I'll give you a good example of this in culture right now. Everyone wants to shit on Gen Z. Entitled, lazy, this, that. And like, there's plenty of that. Like, look, when the government prints unlimited amounts of money during COVID and gives it to people for staying home, it fucks up people. Yeah. Like, it confuses people about merit. That being said, when I hear like some entrepreneurs tell me like, Gary, this fucking Gen Z, I'm like, bro, you're asking them to work for $13 an hour for 10 hours a day in your fucking store. I got news for you. A lot of these kids know how to make $230 a day in TikTok ads. Like they could sell some tea. Like these kids have options. Like, sorry, they don't want to work at Kmart for $8 an hour for 53 hours a week. Like, I don't blame them. If they know how to make it a different way, they're going to. Yeah. And so what is that? What was all that about? That was about, there's a lot of options. And I think there's a lot of people right now who are listening to us with a blunt in hand and chilling and saying like, yeah, I'm just chill. I'm just chill. My argument is, yeah, but there's some shit you give a fuck about. Something, music, something. Yeah. And by the way, this is so fucking meta. You and your crew, that wasn't monetizable 20 years earlier.
It's true.
It's very true. You guys became famous and rich doing shit that you couldn't become famous and rich for 20 years earlier than when you did it. And they had to get somebody to say yes. The internet is like, yo, I'm here. I'm open for business. What do you want? Now, the problem is the internet is also fair, meaning when people are like, Gary, I'm fucking shadow banned on social media. I'm not doing well. I'm like, bro, you're not shadow banned. You just suck. Like everyone's always got an excuse like, yo, fucking Instagram.
Yeah, but do you think shadow ban's a real thing though? So you think shadow ban doesn't not exist?
It's real for 1% of 1%. It's not real for the guy who's been posting the same shit for 20 weeks and nobody gives a fuck. And he's like, I'm shadow banned. I'm like, you're not shadow banned. Nobody thinks you're funny. Yeah. And so, and bro, on some real shit, I love when my content doesn't do well. When I post something and it underperforms, literally I'm like, yep. Fuck you, Gary. You thought it was good. They didn't. Learn. Next.
Yeah. So the internet isn't necessarily fair. It's just highly democratic.
Yes, and the blockchain's even more the internet's got its variables. Things work differently. But here's the punchline. Most things are more fair than people want to think. People want to blame a president. People want to blame their parents. People want to blame. We've gotten remarkable at pointing fingers. Nobody wants to do this shit.
For sure.
No, people have like almost cut their fucking thumbs off. Like people don't want to do this shit, Steve. Like guys, like, and to me, I'm not trying to be like motivational or rough. It's just very, very obvious to me. There's a direct correlation of happiness and accountability. One thing I don't do, it's either my strength or my weakness. I'm almost oblivious to competition.
Good. Blue ocean strategy.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. What is that?
It's just like there's no competition. There's no red in the there's no blood in the water.
By the way, I love competition. Like if you guys were like, let's thumb wrestle, I'd get like super serious right now.
yeah, but you have the mindset there's like enough for everybody and it's abundant.
Like, and by the way, if somebody's like wins something, you're absolutely. I don't think that they took it out of me. By the way, that includes like we're in a pitch right now for we're not, but I'm going to use it because I love them. If we're in a pitch for New Balance, and we're against Droga 5 and Shareability and Wyden and Kennedy, and it's 4 of us, and we lose, I'm aware that one of those 3 people won. But that's the micro. In the macro, I'm going to get mine.
For sure.
We're good enough. And honestly, weirdly, I even like when other people, first of all, I kind of weirdly like losing. Like I'm like, there's a level of like leaning into your own humility and like you should never always win and the merit and trying to figure out how to get better at it. But yeah, blue ocean, for me, it's always abundance, for sure. It's like nobody's stopping me but myself. If I spend a minute trying to figure out what everybody else is doing, that's a minute I'm not figuring out the consumer. And I don't have time for that nonsense.